Hello and welcome. This is This Month with me, the European, and in the next 20 minutes we will talk about the following topics: Dexit and the rise of the German AfD, and the India-Canada diplomatic crisis, massive floods across Greece and Libya, and the American primaries of the Republican Party. So the first topic today is the Dexit, or better, the rise of the German AfD. And this party, so the AfD, is the Alternative for Germany, and in German it's Alternative für Deutschland. This party has risen in polls in the last 3 months and is now at the second place in the polls, and it's now over 21.5%, and these are the highest numbers for this party in polls since it was founded in the year 2009 after the Euro crisis and the banking crisis. And this party is generally against migration and also against the European Union. So this means that the dream of this party would be that when they are elected and when they are in the government, or when they have enough seats also in Brussels in the European Parliament, that they can change the European Union towards their dreams. So this would be a organization of free states, so that every state can cook its own soup, and Brussels will overrule the countries like it is today. It's not very right what I'm saying, because the European Union is like a EU government, so this means that all member states have their own government, and then comes the EU government. But in terms, we know that the European Commission is very dependent on the head of states in the countries. So this means that Ursula von der Leyen, the incumbent head of the European Union, cannot do everything because she needs a majority in the EU member states. And this means that, for example, Olaf Scholz and Emmanuel Macron will vote in favor of a law she thinks would be good for the EU. So this means there is a lot of dependence. So this is not right to say that Brussels is overruling every other country. And but the thing is that the AfD is also for Dexit. Dexit means that Germany is leaving the European Union, like Great Britain has left also the EU, Brexit. And the idea of that was born after the Brexit referendum in 2017, so that some politicians thought in Germany, oh, this could be also a very good idea for us, because then we can do our own things, so that we can shut down our borders and so on and so on. So the thinking was in Germany that this is a very good idea, and exactly it a little bit could be very good when Germany is leaving the EU, because then you must follow not so much rules and laws Brussels or the European Parliament is voted for. But the worst thing is that a Dexit is not the wonderful thing everybody is creating in his mind, because when Germany is leaving the European Union, then also the thing is that all Germans need a visa to travel across Europe. Today, you never need a visa for traveling across the European Union, so that you can, with your personal ID, you can travel across all countries in the EU. And it's called visa freedom. So this means that this will be one thing which Germans cannot access. And the other thing is, when we saw the free travel, is free travel is also the free economy, because we know that all EU member states are in an economy market called the Eurozone, and Germany will leave this market. And this means that the German market have a very huge problem, because Germany is an export nation and not an import nation. So this means they are exporter of goods, and 50% of German goods are going to EU member states. And also Germany is so 50% of what is gets from other states, so the import is also coming from EU member states. So this means there's a very huge dependence. And when you are saying, let's leave the European Union, let's leave all these markets, then you have the very huge economic problem that we are very dependent on all other member states. And don't forget it, also the electricity thing, that so much of the German electricity comes from the other EU member states. For example, this year, Germany has imported across 20% of its electricity it's used. The diplomatic standoff between India and Canada. Or is it a little bit like a crisis? Let's check it out. Yeah, so I think some of you have heard it that India and Canada, the ties between these countries are today at a very deep point because there was a shooting towards Khalistani in Canada. And for you, Khalistanis are people which are a part of the ethnic Sikhs, and they are living towards in India in the region Jammu and Kashmir, and also in the north. So this is in northwest of India, and also these people are living in the northeast of Pakistan. And their vision is it to create their own state called Khalistan. So they named themselves Khalistanis. And in Canada, if you don't know it, is the biggest diaspora of Khalistanis, and also of people who have the opinion that the state of Khalistan would be very nice. And the thing is that in some states and also in India, these people, so the leaders of this organization, are called terrorists, and also their maps and their documents, they cannot travel to India because they are terrorists, and also in other states, but in Canada not, because in Canada there is the right for free speech and free opinions and all the human rights, and they are saying, okay, it's okay that these people are here, they can say what they want, but this year in the first month, one of these leaders was killed in a shooting, and now the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is saying that it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't India who has given the go that this person can be killed, and this was not so nice because this happened after the G20. So you know it, the G20 was in India, and it was a big success because there was an end paper that all states have give the go that this is okay, and this means that this thing what Justin Trudeau has said was not so nice for India, because for India the Khalistanis are a big thing, because when you go back in history, the first female prime minister of India, Indira Gandhi, was killed by Khalistanis because there was also an accident some years ago, but she was killed by Khalistanis, and this is for Indians a very huge thing. So when you are saying India, you are responsible for the death of a Khalistani, then for Indians this is the biggest mistake you can do in diplomacy, because it's not correct to blame a state for a kill of a person when you have no evidence, because we don't know also today why Justin Trudeau and the Canadian government know this, that India is responsible for this death, because there was no evidence published, no papers, no audio files, no videos, so we don't know exactly on which data this is based, what he is saying. But the truth is that it could be not so unrealistic, because India is calling these people terrorists. So when you imagine, then when your country is calling some people terrorists, then it could be that the special forces are also in this other country and observing these people. And it could be not so unrealistic that there was a shooting and then someone was killed. But it sounds very scary, because India is a democracy, so they are also accepting human rights and other things, so that also the Khalistanis have their own opinions in other countries, so they are accepting that. And But what also is very interesting is that some stories was published in the last days that it wasn't India, that it wasn't Pakistan, it was Pakistan which gave the go to kill this person. And the mission of the Pakistanis was that to destroy or to blow the Indian-Canadian relationship. So this is also a very interesting story, but there's actually today no right or wrong in this conflict. So, and the third topic are the massive floods across Greece and Libya. And yeah, also this month wasn't without climate change and climate events. And I think so much of you watched also that the massive rainfall in Greece and in Libya, and then that the dam burst in Libya, and some parts of one city there at the coast was overflooded, and then was also traveling into the ocean, so into the Mediterranean Sea. So climate change is for some parts today on the planet, for us of humans, a very huge thing, because we know that in some parts of Greece, so there was the storm, and that in some parts of Greece there were more than 700 liters per square meter of water in 24 hours. So if you imagine how much water is that, it's too huge to so for you it's more than 700 liters. It's so huge, and this means that you cannot live at these places now because everything is overflooded, but it's out of the mainstream media. So no one is now reporting about this because there are better topics like the Ukraine war, or that the potential risk of a shutdown in the United States, or the Canadian-India ties, or that the violence in Manipur in India. So there are lots of other topics which are very interesting for the mainstream media. But why they aren't reporting now about the floods in Greece and Libya? Because these are also very crucial stories, because they are telling us how fast climate change is working and how potential are the risk of climate change. Because this is very important, because we know all that the climate change will be the biggest issue for humankind in the future. And this means also that we can learn from mistakes we have did in the past. And when we are not reporting that, so when there is no live session in TV on that, on the mainstream media with the most people are watching, then we can't learn from that, because we don't know what is happening now in Libya or in Greece. Yes, the national TV will in these countries will reporting about that, but TV in Germany, on France, or in the United States, it's not important for them, because nobody will watch that. But what we as humans must watch that, because when we don't watch it, then no one of us will be informed about these stories, about the stories of these people who are dying and who's died in these floods, and also that we can see what we can do together to help these countries, and also to sustain the situation there, so that it will not get worse. But when we don't know it, because there's no information on the screen, on the TV channels, then we cannot think about this, and also about the developments. So this is very crucial, and I hope this will be changed in the next years and months, that more channels will also report things out of region which are now in huge crisis because of climate change. Because this is the issue we must work on forever. If this problem will be, I hope it will be not so huge in 50 years or more, when we are working now on it. So I hope this dream will be filled. And last but not least, we have the American primaries of the Republican Party. And this is very interesting because we all know that there are 7 candidates plus Donald Trump, which are running for president for the Republican Party in the United States. And these candidates have successfully made their second debate on Fox News. And one person was missing, and this was Donald Trump, because he think it's for him not so important to go to these debates because he's so popular among Republican voters, so that he will win this. But there is a little bit of change also in the polls across Republican voters, because Donald Trump hasn't in all polls 50%. So in some polls he had 48%, and then also, which is very interesting, that Nikki Haley, the former ambassador from the United States to the UN, had, for example, in this poll, 15%, and she was at the second place before this governor of Florida. I missed it word. Oh no, I missed that name. The governor of Florida, and he had 11%, and then comes the other candidates. So this means that also she could be a potential candidate to not to win the primaries, because Donald Trump had 48% and then she comes at second with 15%. So it's not so much, not so huge, but it's very interesting to see this dynamic. And it's not good for Donald Trump that he is not at these debates, because, well, yes, the people know for what he stands for, but also these other 7 candidates are very interesting in their opinions and how they think they can rule America towards a good path. For example, Nikki Haley, she's a woman. This is very important because the Democrats have Joe Biden as the candidate, and he is over 80, and Nikki Haley is one of the youngest candidates with a little bit more than 50, and she's saying that what very important is for America is also to work against China, which some candidates are missed. So we know, for example, that Donald Trump, he likes how Xi Jinping is ruling, but he knows that he can't do it in America. But he thinks this is a good style. But Nikki Haley is saying that China is the biggest threat to the United States, and also that what very important for her is that America must arm Taiwan. And this is where things get scary also across the candidates, because some have good relations to China because they are heads of companies and their companies work with China. And also some of them are saying we must arm every Taiwanese. So this have also said one candidate that every Taiwanese must get a weapon or a gun from America. So this is very crazy. But why not? Because there is the biggest conflict in this century in the South Chinese Sea, or also on the Pacific Ocean, between the United States and China. And so there must be also the thing, or this must be the topic where the candidates are talking about. And for that, we need also Donald Trump's opinion about this. And when we don't have it, then it's not good. And also, it's not good when he's thinking that he don't need these debates, because he cannot know what the others are thinking. And the worst is that the others know that he is watching this debate, but he isn't there. So this is not good. And it would be very interesting how this political debate will go on in the future. And yeah, this was this month with me, the European. Write us in the comments how do you think we presented the topics, and see you again.